Welcome back to the channel, everyone, where today I'm moving some cars. It's actually really windy today here in the UK. I think we've got yet another storm hitting us, Storm Isha or something like that. Really is quite windy. But anyway, I'm moving some cars today. Kindly, MK Body Shop have loaned me the transporter, the beaver tail. These things are so useful, and you'll see I got the Mark IV Mondeo here at the moment, but this isn't the car that I'm featuring in this video. I just need to move this one. There's a whole nother car coming to the channel, to the collection, so stay tuned for that. In fact, I've got this truck for a couple of days and I intend to move quite a few cars. Let's say these beaver tail trucks are fantastic things. So I've got the Mark IV Mondeo Titanium X Turbo on the back at the moment because I'm delivering it to a friend of mine who's bought it from me. This is a great car and an increasingly rare car, a Mondeo with the 5-cylinder turbo engine. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, well, you'll probably recognize this car because I featured it in a video around a year or so ago. I think I called the video The Secret Fast Ford Bargain. Well, I called it that because that's what these are. They're fast, they're great fun, and they're pretty cheap when it comes to fast Fords. In fact, my friend bought this car off me around a year or so ago, and I've been gladly storing it here in my barn. And over that time, I reckon these have probably gone up in price around sort of 20, maybe slightly over 20%. So the secret's out. So if you want one of these, you better be quick because prices of these are rising. I'll post a link to that video in the description below. But the reason I'm delivering this car today is because it's on the way to me collecting a car that I've bought. Yep, I've done it again. I've bought yet another car into the collection, and I'll get to that in a moment. So, delivering this, I'm here in Cornwall at the moment, delivering this to Newton Abbot, and then I'm off up to Birmingham to collect the car that I've bought today. And well, you're going to come along with me and see that car. But before I hand this back tomorrow, I'm also going to move my sport car to the local garage. Because if you've seen the video that I put out 3 or so weeks ago, well, you'll know that that little sport car, it isn't starting at the moment, so I need to get that sorted. I know quite a few of you are looking forward to me getting that car back on the road, up and running this year, so please do stay tuned for that. And then when I've done that, well, I'm going to put my Rover 600 Turbo on the back of here, take it into MK Body Shop, and they're going to paint the boot lid for me and just address that little patch of rust. So again, stay tuned for that. I'll feature that in a whole nother video. It's fair to say I got loads to do, so I need to get cracking. As for the new addition to my collection, well, I'm actually buying it from a subscriber. Marissa and Byron, they got in touch with me after they watched my video on Hot Mondeos. They got in touch and they said that they had one, it needed a bit of work, and we've done a deal and I'm buying it from them and I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to be swapping on the back of this transporter, this Hot Mondeo, for another Hot Mondeo. In fact, let's get on the road, I'll tell you all about it, and whilst I drive, you can subscribe. Okay, I'm off. Just crossed over the Tamar Bridge there, now in Devon, and it's about 211 miles door to door from my house to Walsall in Birmingham, where I'm collecting the new car. About 4 hours of driving. I do have to stop off in Newton to drop Mick, the Mark IV Mondeo. That's about 15 minutes. It really is on the way. Now, what am I collecting today? Well, if you haven't seen my video on Hot Mondeos, please do go and take a watch. But it was as a result of that video that Marissa and Byron, they contacted me. They contacted me because they got a Hot Mondeo. Used to belong, I believe, to Marissa's father, and after a few years of ownership, he sold it on to Byron, Marissa's partner, and Byron was using it as a kind of daily, really. I think there was a bit of work to be done to get it through the MOT last time. But this time around, I think Byron's a bit concerned about the work that's required, maybe some subframe work there. And really, because he dailies the car, well, it's something that is likely to deteriorate over time, so the money they spend on it now, probably more money to spend next year, and well, it's at that age and it's that type of car that it really needs to go into a collection or start to be classic owned, and I don't think they have the space to keep the car. So they got in touch after watching that video. They felt that I was really passionate about Mondeos, about this type of Mondeo in particular. Well, we had a chat and we agreed a deal. What is it? Well, I've actually already bought a part for the car. It's here. It's a gear knob, because this car has a very special gear knob. They're keeping the original gear knob because Marissa's father used to drive the car. It's a bit special, so they're keeping that one. So I've bought another. And now I just need the car to go with it. Right, it's Imperial Blue. It's a nice early Mondeo. It's 2.5 litre. That's enough clues. I'm off today to collect a Mondeo ST200. Oh, I'm so excited. I think they're really special performance Mondeos. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to drive it. I can't wait to do some restoration work. Believe me, there's quite a bit to do to this car, but well, who can pass up an opportunity to buy an ST200 Mondeo? So let's drop off this Mark IV in Newton and let's head on up the motorway and let's collect the car. Just over 3 hours then into my drive to Birmingham. Got about 45 miles to go now. I successfully dropped off the Mark IV Mondeo there to Mick in Newton Abbot. He's really happy with the car, and well, he should be. It's a lovely, lovely Mondeo. Here's some footage of it actually coming off the transporter. And then a couple of hours ago that was. Now this truck, this transporter, it drives brilliant. It drives like a new truck. Now we also hit a mileage milestone in this truck just now, 215,000 miles. It drives so well, you hardly notice when you've got a car on the back. This really is a good thing. I want one of these. They're quite expensive and I'm not sure I'd use it that often, but boy, when you need one, well, they're so useful. I'm very lucky to have the use of this one. Thanks again to Matt and the team at MK Body Shop. So a little bit more about the ST200 that we're going to pick up. Well, first of all, the car's only done 79,000 miles. Well, I think that's pretty low for a Mondeo ST200. After all, lots of the ST200s that are out there, they've done lots more miles, well over 100,000 miles, and that's because the vast majority of the ST200s have been used for exactly what they were intended, which is transporting 5 people in comfort, lots of miles. So if you have a look, you're regularly seeing cars come up for sale for over 100,000 miles. Good cars still, but this one feels like a low mileage car. It's also an early car. It's got the half leather Recaro seats, which are correct in the early ST200s. The full leather interior actually was standard in the later cars. So this is an early one with the half leather Recaros. Quite looking forward to seeing those because I haven't had the half leathers before. Now, this all sounds a bit too good to be true, doesn't it? A subscriber calls me low mileage, early ST200 for sale, but we do have to remember this is a project car. It's got no MOT. I know that Byron, well, he's been running it, as I said earlier, as a daily, and he believes it's not failed an MOT yet, but he believes there's some subframe work to be done. In fact, I'll flash on the screen now the MOT history for the car, and you'll see last year it had quite a bit of work to get through the MOT. A lot of corrosion there, a lot of structural stuff. But the good news is that Byron has started the restoration. In fact, he sent me some photographs of the car. Again, I'll flash a couple now onto the screen, where he's done some work to the arches and to the sills. So some of that work's been done. We got a subframe to do. We won't know really until we get there. I'm not entirely sure what I'm letting myself in for here. Am I buying a car that I can restore, or is there going to be big issues and big bills along the way? Well, in truth, I don't really mind. I don't really care, because I want to save this car. It's a low mileage ST200 after all. I want to save this car. I want to take it into my collection and I want to feature it here on the channel, but I'd like to know if you'd like to follow the restoration of the ST200 on the channel. Please do let me know in the comments below. I'm going to do it, but if you want to see it, please, as I say, let me know. And after all, if there are big bills, it's not too much to worry about. I mean, look at the value, look at the price that some people are asking for ST200s for sale right now. It's got to be worth doing, hasn't it? Well, let's see when we get there. I'm about, 40 minutes away now. So let's arrive, let's take a look at the car, and whatever happens, we're taking it home. Let's see. Here we are then, just coming off at Walsall, only 1.7 miles to go. It's just 4 o'clock here in the UK, but look, we're losing the light, which is a real shame. Let's do this thick cloud cover. Hopefully, we'll get there, only 3 or 4 minutes away now. We'll get there, I'll be able to jump out and quickly whip the camera around the car for a first glance, and then we'll do a bit more of a detailed look over the car tomorrow. But yeah, look at this, 4 o'clock and we're losing the light already here in Walsall. Here it is then, look, just about keeping the daylight. Now I said the arches and the seals have been done. Looks like they're going to need doing again. Wheels look good. God, it's an ST200, look at that. Let's have a look inside. There's that half leather interior. The missing gear knob, but look, it's all there. Byron tells me the skirts are inside the house. Shall we pop the bonnet? Have a look. Let's have a look. Is this a two-handed job? No. There he is, the ST200 engine. Well, here I am back home with the ST200, and boy is it windy today. In fact, as I was driving home yesterday in the dark, well, there were signs regularly on the motorway warning of the strong winds that are coming today, and by all accounts they're coming this afternoon, the really strong winds, so I need to wrap this video up quite quickly. Now, I got home yesterday about 10:30 at night. Here's a photograph of me with the car crossing the River Tamar there on the ferry as I cross into Cornwall. Now, as for the car, well, I can't take my eyes off it. I think it's stunning. This imperial blue really is lovely, and well, the Mark II Mondeo is a lovely car to look at. I spent an hour or so yesterday with the family who previously owned this car, and it's fair to say they love this old car too. And they all turned up to see it off, and I think there were some tears as I loaded this car up and as I drove away. But that's understandable, because these old cars, well, they get in our hearts. You see, this was Marissa's dad's car, Alan, and Alan was a big Ford fan. He owned this car from new, and well, here's an image of a document, a temporary cover note issued by Ford on the day that Alan collected this car, brand new, his £23,000 Mondeo ST200. Now, as I've already said, Alan was a big Ford fan. His car history includes lots of new Cortinas, Sierras, this ST200 Mondeo and a Mark I Focus RS. I think it's fair to say that Alan and I definitely would have got on, but sadly he passed away over 10 years ago. Well, I believe that this car, well, it's acted as a constant reminder of Dad, a constant reminder of Alan whenever they drove it. But sadly, this has gone beyond a bit of a patch up to keep it on the road. This car now needs some fairly major restoration, and I think for the family, well, to restore it and to continue to use it daily just wasn't the right thing to do. And I'm touched that Marissa and Byron reached out to me and have trusted me with this ST200 Mondeo. I've got to do it. Now, I've left it up here on the truck just so that I can show you the work that needs to be done. These seals are pretty ugly, and well, they need completely chopping out and repairing. Hopefully it's not too bad in behind. Now, fortunately, you can still buy the sill panels and the arches, so at least that's one good thing. Also, a quick look underneath suggests there's more to be done underneath this car than mechanically or on top. I mean, cosmetically, from certain angles, this car looks really good. So that's the bad bits. Let's get it down and look at some of the good bits. Wow, what a handsome car this ST200 really is, and it's complete. Don't worry, I've got the seal skirts, they're inside the car. I'll put a picture of those on the screen now. So I've got every bit to put this car back to, well, its former glory, and I don't think it's that far off, barring the things that we saw just now. This car's completely standard. Well, that's been helped by the fact that Alan bought this car new and he passed it on to Marissa and Byron in 2003, who have owned this car ever since. This is a 79,438 mile, two owner from new ST200. Wow. Inside the car then, well, as I said yesterday, this car's got the lovely half leather Recaros, which were only fitted to the earliest ST200s, I believe around sort of 300. One of you may know differently, so please do let me know. But yeah, these lovely seats, bit of work to do on the driver's bolster, but it's not torn, it just needs to be recolored. Again, everything in here really original. Being an ST200, it has the brilliant blue ST200 dials. It has the carbon effect dashboard. This car's so original, it even has the original ST200 floor mats and the ST200 gear knob, which I need to fit to this car. I believe that this is the last large family car that Ford went all out on. They really created something very special with this car. This car is the end of an era, because the hot large family cars that came after this, well, they preferenced comfort, luxury over real curb appeal. This car really is the end of an era, and I suppose, well, the last of the proper Ford touring cars. So here we have the three most recent and quite unplanned additions to my collection. And well, the problem is, I love each of them. They're fantastic cars, but this takes me to over 20 cars in the collection, which is way too many. So I need to sell something. But as Danny the Count from Count's Custom says,
I love cars and I need cars and I sell cars so that I can buy cars. I know I got a problem and I hope it never changes.
As for the ST200, well, I'm probably not going to get to restoring this car until much later in 2024. Ahead of it in the queue, of course, is finishing the Sierra Sapphire Cosworth and a few other cars to get back onto the road. But I'll certainly get to this car, and I'm so glad I've got one. And I'm glad I've got this low mileage 2-owner ST200. And I'll definitely restore this car right because, well, the car deserves it, but so do to Alan's family. Do you know, the stories that come with the car are often as important to me as the cars themselves, and this car's got a wonderful story and I can't wait to add my chapter. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please let me know your thoughts on this car in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for coming on this car collection journey, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Bye bye.